Welcome back to our channel, everyone. Today is a beautiful sunny day, and I am absolutely thrilled to sit down and share some time with all of you. I just have to tell you, my heart has been pounding out of my chest watching the latest developments unfold, because Sonny Corinthos has finally reached his absolute breaking point. For weeks, we have all been sitting on the edge of our seats, watching Jen Sidwell slither his way through our beloved town, spreading his dark influence like a toxic weed. But if there is one universal truth in Port Charles, it is that you do not push Sonny Corinthos into a corner and expect him to just take it quietly. The moment Sonny officially declared war on Sidwell, I literally gasped out loud in my living room. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated television magic. You could practically feel the electricity bleeding through the screen, the kind of heavy, suffocating tension that happens right before a massive thunderstorm rolls across the plains. Sonny is no longer just playing defense or trying to outmaneuver this monster in the shadows. He has stepped right out into the harsh light of day, looked Sidwell squarely in the eye, and drawn a definitive line in the sand. And let me tell you, when Sonny goes to war, the whole world shakes. What really got to me, what truly brought tears to my eyes, is the underlying reason behind Sonny's explosive reaction. It is not just about pride, and it certainly isn't just about territory. It is about family and the innocent people he loves. The sheer undeniable danger that Lucas is in right now has completely shattered Sonny's usual stoic exterior. Bless his heart, Lucas has always been one of the genuinely good, pure souls in Port Charles. He is trusting, he is kind, and he has been sitting over at Windermere completely oblivious to the mortal danger creeping right up to his front door. Watching Sidwell and his cronies try to frame an innocent man like Lucas for the brutal murder of Marco is enough to make anyone's blood boil. When Sonny finally saw the absolute truth of what Sidwell was doing, you could see the terror and the fury warring in his dark eyes. It is one thing for hardened mobsters to shoot at each other, but dragging a sweet, innocent man like Lucas into this twisted web of deceit, that is a line you simply do not cross without facing the wrath of Corinthos. And it is not just Lucas who is caught in this terrifying crossfire. The danger has violently spilled over to Pascal as well, and that is what makes this entire situation feel so incredibly suffocating. Pascal is out there, vulnerable and exposed, and Sidwell's crimes are wrapping around these good people like a suffocating net. Sidwell is using anyone who might stand in his way as a convenient pawn, completely disregarding their humanity. Seeing Pascal's safety so brutally compromised has added a whole new, desperate layer of urgency to Sonny's mission. I found myself gripping the armrests of my chair, just praying out loud that Sonny can get to them in time. You know as well as I do that Sonny takes the role of protector very, very seriously. When his allies are threatened, when the people who trust him are placed directly in the line of fire, Sonny takes it as a profound personal failure. That deep-seated, agonizing fear for his allies is exactly what is driving him to take these explosive, unprecedented new actions. Let us take a moment to really talk about that fear, because it is something we so rarely see from the great Sonny Corinthos. We are so used to seeing him as this untouchable, unshakable titan, a man made of Teflon. But right now, he is genuinely, deeply terrified. And honestly, that makes him so much more relatable and human to me. He is a man looking at the very real possibility of losing the people he cares about, and that fear is eating him alive from the inside out. It is a terrifying realization for him that his usual tactics might not be enough this time. Sidwell is not playing by the old familiar rules of the mob. He is using the vast power of the WSB, the corruption of the law, and a complete lack of human decency to get what he wants. Sonny realizes that to beat a monster like Sidwell, he has to unleash a level of ruthlessness that he has tried so hard to keep buried for years. The emotional weight he is carrying right now is just staggering to witness. But here is the brilliant twist that had me cheering and clapping at my television screen. Sonny is not just going in blind with guns blazing. Oh no, he has been quietly, methodically doing his homework behind the scenes. The revelation that Sonny has actually managed to gather full, concrete evidence of Sidwell's crimes is a game-changer of epic proportions. I am talking about undeniable, irrefutable proof, the kind of evidence that links Sidwell directly to the framing of Lucas and the threats against Pascal. It is so incredibly satisfying to know that Sonny has the upper hand in the intelligence department for once. He isn't just relying on his gut instincts, he holds the smoking gun in his own hands. This completely changes the entire dynamic of the upcoming war. Sonny isn't just a mob boss lashing out in a blind rage. He is a man armed with the absolute truth, ready to expose a corrupt, sadistic tyrant to the world. And knowing that Sonny holds this explosive evidence makes the anticipation of their final confrontation almost unbearable. With this rock-solid evidence firmly in his grasp, Sonny's entire demeanor has shifted in the most chilling way. You can almost hear the gears turning in his head as he makes these bold, new calculations. He is plotting out a series of explosive actions that are going to rock Port Charles to its very core. I get chills just thinking about the elaborate traps he must be laying for Sidwell right now. Sonny knows perfectly well that he cannot just hand this evidence over to the local police, not when Sidwell has dirty cops in his pocket, and certainly not when the powerful WSB is involved. No, Sonny is going to have to execute a masterstroke of strategy to take Sidwell down entirely outside the conventional boundaries of the law. He is orchestrating a grand symphony of destruction, and Sidwell is going to be the main event. It is thrilling, it is terrifying, and it is exactly the kind of high-stakes, edge-of-your-seat drama that keeps us coming back day after day. Meanwhile, Jen Sidwell is strutting around town like he owns the very air we breathe, completely blind to the massive hurricane that is heading straight for his front door. His arrogance is just astounding, isn't it? He honestly believes that because he has the backing of corrupt forces, he is completely untouchable. He looks at Sonny and sees a man whose time has passed, someone he can easily step over. But oh, how devastatingly wrong he is. Sidwell's fatal flaw is that he severely underestimates the power of a man who is fighting for his family's survival. Sidwell is playing a cold, calculated game of chess, but Sonny is playing for blood. Watching Sidwell gloat, watching him continue to manipulate the situation with Lucas and Pascal with that smug look on his face just makes me want to scream at the television. You just know that his immense pride is going to be his ultimate downfall, and I, for one, cannot wait to see the look of pure shock on his face when Sonny pulls the rug right out from under him. The atmosphere in Port Charles right now is so thick and heavy you could cut it with a knife. Everywhere you look, people are sensing that something massive and terrible is about to happen. Even the characters who aren't directly involved in this mob war can feel the dangerous shift in the wind. The streets seem quieter, the shadows seem longer, and there is this creeping sense of dread that is settling over the entire town like a thick fog. It reminds me of the old, classic days of General Hospital, when a major mob war would force everyone to choose sides, lock their doors, and pray for morning. You can feel the rich history of the town weighing down on this current storyline. We have seen wars before, but this one feels entirely different. It feels more absolute. It feels like there is no coming back from the actions that are about to be taken. The writers are doing an absolutely incredible job of building this unbearable tension, but with all this heart-pounding excitement comes a very deep, very real sense of profound sorrow, because we all know what a war of this unbelievable magnitude truly means. It means casualties. The heartbreaking realization that this clash between Sonny and Sidwell is going to lead to new deaths is absolutely gut-wrenching. I have been sitting here running through the list of characters in my head, praying with all my heart that my favorites make it out alive. When titans like Sonny and Sidwell violently collide, the collateral damage is always devastating. Innocent people get caught in the crossfire. Good people make fatal mistakes. The fact that new deaths are explicitly on the horizon has cast a dark, mournful shadow over the entire storyline. It makes every single interaction, every shared look, and every tender moment between characters feel so incredibly precious and fragile, because we just do not know who is going to survive this impending bloodbath. This isn't just going to be a few scuffles in a dark alleyway. We are looking at a full-blown catastrophic disaster. The kind of disaster that fundamentally changes the landscape of Port Charles forever. Sidwell is a man who would rather burn the entire town to the ground than admit defeat. And Sonny is a man who will walk through the hottest fire to protect his own. When you put those two unstoppable, explosive forces against each other, the resulting blast is going to leave deep scars that will take years to heal. I am genuinely terrified for the hospital, for the police department, and for all the innocent families who are just trying to live their everyday lives. The ripple effects of this war are going to touch absolutely everyone. Families will be torn apart, lifelong alliances will be shattered, and the sheer scale of the tragedy that is looming over our beloved characters is almost too much to bear. I have been watching this show for a very long time, and this storyline brings back so many vivid memories of the epic battles we have witnessed in the past. But there is a distinct, chilling difference here that I just cannot shake. In the past, Sonny's enemies usually had some sort of code, however twisted it might have been. But Sidwell has absolutely no code. He is void of empathy. A man who views beautiful human lives, like Lucas and Pascal, as nothing more than disposable chess pieces to be sacrificed. This makes Sonny's fight not just a battle for territory, but a desperate battle for the very soul of Port Charles. It is a fight between the flawed but fiercely loyal love of a patriarch and the cold, sterile, bureaucratic evil of a corrupt system. It makes me root for Sonny with a fiery passion I haven't felt in years. I find myself pacing my living room floor, talking to the characters as if they can hear me, begging them to be careful. As a deeply devoted viewer, being taken on this intense emotional roller coaster is exactly why I tune in every single day. The highs, the lows, the moments of pure panic, and the flashes of triumphant hope, it is storytelling at its absolute finest. I feel so deeply, personally invested in Sonny's journey right now. I feel his bone-deep exhaustion, his righteous rage, and his desperate, clawing need to keep Lucas and Pascal safe from harm. The talented writers have done a phenomenal job of making us feel the heavy weight of every single decision. It is not just mindless action, it is deeply psychological and profoundly emotional. Every time Sonny looks at the evidence he has gathered, every time he issues a dark new order, you can see the toll it is taking on his soul. And as someone who loves these characters like they are my own dear neighbors, it is both a privilege and a torment to watch them go through this fiery crucible.